When I first started this channel in 2018, one of the big things that we loved in home theater was Dolby Atmos demo discs. Now, each one of these discs contain different clips from various movies, just small clips that have just great sound, great bass, and then they would also include some of their own Dolby Atmos trailers. Well, those are pretty much gone, but the great news is Trinnov has created some absolutely phenomenal trailers and demos that will not only test your system, but it will show off the best parts of your system. And so in this video, I want to share with you 2 new trailers that Trinnov has come out. And I'm even going to talk about a third one they're going to be launching in the very first part of May coming up. And so stick around to the end of the video. I want to give a big thanks to Trinnov for supporting this channel by sponsoring this video. So let's go ahead and head over to the Trinnov website. I'm going to show you exactly where you can get these demos and how to utilize them in your system. So here we are on the Trinnov website. I'll have a link down in the description as well as a pinned comment so you can easily access this page, and definitely bookmark it because they're going to continue to add new ones in the coming months, pretty much one every month leading up to CEDIA. And so I'm super pumped to share these with you. Now, if we scroll down on the page, we'll see 2 new downloads. So here we have Rings, and then another one is La Basse. Now, the cool thing about these, they're totally different. Rings kind of starts off real smooth and gradual, and then it starts to kind of build in the middle, and then by the end, it's kind of cranking. And so it's just a really fun vibe, but it's got some really cool visuals of outer space, Saturn, the different rings that you see sometimes. And when you see this little shuttle right here, when it, at the very end, when it drops, that bass drops hard. And so make sure you turn it up when you're listening to this. But this is an absolutely phenomenal track. And I love the fact that these new ones are longer. Some of their original ones were only like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute. And so this one, I believe, is about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes. But La Basse is about 4.5 minutes. Honestly, this is like my favorite one. This one kind of gets me really excited, gets me really cranking. And so in La Basse, it talks a lot about waveforming. Of course, Trinnov is known for their waveforming technology. And so you'll see a lot of this text right here that's popping up on the screen. You see some different subwoofers, some animation, but the bass in this is absolutely bonkers, man. It's pounding, and then there's certain parts of the trailer that the bass just drops to the bottom. You know, when the old THX logo would come on the screen and it would go, ooh, and then it'd have a rumble. That thing, it pales in comparison to what Trinnov is doing. This is super, super cool. So you definitely want some good solid subwoofers to be able to handle this. If you don't turn it up too loud. But there's a couple of scenes in this and a couple of sections in La Basse that it absolutely just rips your room apart. It is super, super well done. Now, one thing I love about the Trinnov trailers is they are utilizing Atmos the way that you and I want Atmos to be utilized. How many times do we watch a movie and we're like, man, where's the Atmos? Like, where's the overheads? Where's the utilization of my surrounds? And we just walk away from the movie going, man, that was such a missed opportunity. Well, Trinnov is mixing these tracks, creating their own custom musical scores and beats, and they're utilizing all of the Atmos speakers. There are times in the demos where you'll hear the sound. There's like a clicking sound, and it's click, 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 and they utilize all of your surround bed layers, and I believe it even goes up to the Atmos speakers in that. And so you're constantly during the clip there, the trailer, you're hearing this panning while the music's playing, while the bass is thumping. And it really is just tapping into all of your auditory senses. And so it's just intriguing. I love what they're doing in the space. Again, Dolby Atmos the closest thing Dolby did was they had the helicopter that went around all the speakers. And honestly, that wasn't ever really exciting to me. This is music. This is something that you could jam to. This is something that you can just really kind of get your body pumping as you're listening to this. And so La Basse, to me, like so far, that's my jam, man. I love cranking that up in my system, and I've got 418s, and so it's pressurizing the room. When the bass drops and those low frequencies hit, you feel it in your chest, you feel it in your legs, you feel it in your bones, and it's truly, truly spectacular. But there's one other one. It's not listed on the website yet. They did say that I could talk about it. It's called Anomaly. Again, they're just doing some things really, really different with their trailers. And I think Benoit and all the others that are working on this project, they're just wanting to stretch themselves. They're wanting to step outside the box. And I super appreciate that, because it's not just your typical. It's not what we're used to. And so with Anomaly, the visuals on this are absolutely stunning. You've got rock formations that are floating, basically defying gravity. And these rocks are floating up to the sky. And you've got this crashed aircraft, and parts of it are kind of pulling apart and beginning to float up. And again, they utilize just some different techniques in this. There's this almost angelic voice that just begins to play as the trailer begins, and it's pretty smooth. And then as it continues on, again, the excitement kind of builds, the bass begins to build, and then near the end it kind of mellows out again with their voice, and it's just really, really done extremely well, and it's super creative. I've never seen anything like these type of trailers in the home theater space. And they have the Atmos tracks, they've got Oro 3D, DTS. And so they're looking to really just tap into all of those formats. And the way that you're going to need to play these, though, is you need to have some kind of player. So these are MKV files, so you're not going to be able to play this probably just natively on like a DVD player. Now, some of them maybe the old Oppos would be able to play these files. So you'll have to check with your player to see if you can. But what you're going to do is head over to their website. Let's go back over there. You're going to go to the website, and you're going to, now mine just basically is going to allow me to download it because I've already registered. This button will say something different like register to download or something like that. All you have to do is give them your email address and then give it a few minutes or a few seconds and then refresh the page. So just go up to the browser, hit the refresh button, and the page will reload, and then it'll look like this. And so what will happen is you'll be presented with a Dolby Atmos button right here. So if I click on that, you may not be able to see it in the screenshot here, but once you click that, it's going to pop up and say, hey, do you want to download this file? And it's basically going to say, well, where do you want to put that file? And then you download it to your computer. And then the way that I play the files is through my Arvolution media player. So the Arvolution media players, similar to like Zadoo, Dune, the older Zapedi players. You might even be able to play this. Actually, I'm pretty sure you can play this if you have a Plex server. Using Plex, you might be able to use. So there's just depending on what system you have is going to dictate whether or not you're going to be able to play an MKV file. And so the way that I use it over here on my desk in my office, I have a Ugreen NAS. And so I save the files to the network attached storage device, which is the NAS. And then in the theater room, I link to a folder on the NAS. Basically, I just go into the Arvolution and I map to that particular folder on the drive. And then in the Arvolution, I just navigate to that, and then I can play any one of those trailers. So I've got all of their trailers on tap, and I even have some of those in my Kaleidescape script. And so when people come over and they demo my system, I always play. The Trinnov one is actually the first one in my script. The one that I use is Row of Rows because it's just very peaceful. It's really slow. It's just kind of chill and mellow, but it's got some really cool Atmos effects, man. You start hearing all of the heights being activated and your surrounds being activated. But it's kind of an intro into my script. And then as we get further into the Kaleidescape script, it begins to build. You know, we've got action scenes, we've got stuff that's blowing up. But I want to add some of these new clips, especially La Basse. It's going to get added today into my Kaleidescape script. So if you're interested, if you got Kaleidescape, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be glad to send you that script. Of course, you'll need to own those movies to be able to play them on your Kaleidescape, but send me an email to youthman@obsessedhometheater.com. Again, I've been sharing that script for many of you that have reached out to me, so I'll be happy to do that. But these trailers, man, I'm telling you, I'm super pumped at what Trinnov is doing. Now, they've given me the access to the new ones that are coming out leading up to Cedia. I just can't talk about them yet. So once they come out, then I'll be able to share another video on the latest one. So in the coming months, look for future videos and I'll be talking about them. But I want you guys to go to their website, go down to the description, click on the link, go download them. And I would love to hear your feedback. Let me know, but also let Trinnov know. Which of these resonate the most with you? Why do you like them? What aspects of it do you really appreciate? Because I believe that that feedback will help them to make even better trailers for you and for me in the future. And the best part of this is they're free. You know, again, back in the day in 2018, Dolby had these Dolby Atmos discs, and the only way that you could get them is you had to be a dealer. They would send them out for, to dealers because you couldn't resell it, because of the copyright issues and the different clips that they would use from different movies. So the studios wouldn't let them sell it. And so you couldn't really buy it unless you bought it on eBay. Typically those were illegal. They were rips. They weren't the original copies anyway, or the original disc. They were copies. And so that was always frustrating to get it. And you're like, oh man, I bought it. And now it's just somebody ripped it, and made a copy of it. But that they're really no longer making those. I haven't seen them in a long time. And so to have trailers that really utilize your Atmos, utilize your LFE, and just provide some really awesome, visually stunning imagery to go along with the songs and the music, I think is super, super cool and really creative in our space. And so definitely check those out. Let me know in the description which one is your favorite and what aspects of them that you like and appreciate the most. And then I'll encourage Trinnov to check out that feedback so that they can maybe implement some of that and into making even better trailers for you and for me in the future. Now, there might be a possibility, I can't guarantee this, but there might be a possibility of being able to distribute this on maybe a thumb drive or even a physical disc down the road. I don't have a lot of information on that, but that is something that they're at least thinking about. And so there's some of you that don't have the ability to play this on your system, like through a NAS. You don't have a media player. Of course, you can go to their YouTube page. You're just not going to get it in Atmos. And so if that's something that you would be interested in, the USB or the physical media, again, let me know down in the comments. And again, I'll share that feedback with them. I just think that'd be super cool if they offered that to the community to be able to purchase or whatever, a download. Well, I guess you can download it now, but to be able to purchase the thumb drive or purchase maybe a physical disc so that you can play it on the standard 4K player, or if you've got a computer, you can put it in there, or use the thumb drive and connect it to your device. So if you got any questions, let me know down in the description. Let me know what you think of these new Trinnov trailers. I'm super pumped. I think they're amazing, but go check them out. Well, guys, I hope you have an incredible week. God bless, and we will catch you in the next video.